Okay, and I'm back. So demo day 2, which was really not day 2. It's really like a week apart from the first time, but it's okay. I'm getting back into it. Today I'm going to be tackling the kitchen, the bathroom, and a little bit of the slide too. So I basically just start by taking off all of the drawers, all of the cabinet doors, pretty much anything that's loose like that. I'm going to go ahead and take off. I will reuse these, so I'll just save them for later. Now in this next section, you'll see me underneath the sink a lot. Pretty much just taking all of the screws out that's underneath there. I'm taking the clips that hold the sink in. I'm unscrewing those. That way the sink will come loose. And then you'll eventually see me take the water lines off. But I'll do that after I have to pull it out, just because it's kind of like way tucked underneath there. And it seems like a lot to try to reach my hand in there and get there. So I'm just going to start by taking all of these support clips off. The clips basically hold the sink to the actual countertop itself. Alright, now that I've stuck my head in all sorts of weird places today, hopefully this will just come right up. And as you can see, I forgot one clip all the way in the back, so I have to stick my head all the way back under. And this is pretty much just how today went. But that's okay, it's just one clip, so once I got that loose, the sink came right out, and then I'll take the water lines off from the back. It's just a whole lot easier to take them off once it's up, and you don't have to bend all the way in and like stick your entire body underneath the cabinet. So that's just the way I did it. You can do it either way. I will not be reusing this sink or the faucet, so I'm pretty much just going to throw it outside and it's going to go to the dump. Now next up is this stove. So I've never taken anything like this off before. The usual ones that I take off are like a stove and oven combo. This one is actually a stove and a microwave combo. So it was a little bit of trial and error trying to figure out how it came off. So basically there were like 6 screws in that front face. And then once that face came off, the microwave actually slid all the way out. And then there was some screws underneath that I could take off. And the whole top part, it's actually glass, which is pretty interesting. So that slid up. And here's incoming my 3-year-old who's just a little bit nosy and wants to know what I'm doing. He said, "Mommy, can you see me?" Yes, I can see you. I definitely can see you. So now that microwave's out, I'm working on taking the screws out that mount that flat part to the actual frame itself. And then you'll see me get some tools. I'm disconnecting the propane supply. And then there's actually some wires back there that I had to clip and disconnect, which you see right there. I thought about doing just taking the wire nuts off, but actually like clipping them just so I can remember which wire goes to which. It really only goes back one way, but better safe than sorry, because when I start demoing a lot like this, the wires can get mixed up sometimes. So this is just to keep my head straight. Alright, so now that that's off, I'm going to start taking the screws off so I can basically take a hammer to this countertop and remove it. And honestly, it's a 50-50 shot whether you get lucky with this countertop or not. I did not get lucky with this one. Sometimes they actually just put like a 3/4 inch strip of wood all along the edges and screw it in. And then other times they actually use staples and staple it, and that is exactly what they did. So you'll just see me bang on it here a lot, and I'm basically just taking it off and loosening the staples from the countertop. And then the whole thing actually will just come up. I'll save this just for a template for the outside for that corner right there. I don't really need it, but I kind of like matching it up just to be on the safe side. And I have the space, so I might as well just keep it. I will end up making a new countertop for this, which I do have a video on my channel about how to make your own countertops. So if that's something you're thinking about doing, definitely go ahead and check that out. As you can see, it took me a minute here because they screwed a wire to the inside, which makes no sense to me, but it's okay. That's why I'm not an RV manufacturer, I guess. I don't even know. So next I'm going to take off the range hood that is over the stove. This is pretty much just a matter of 4 or 5 screws, and then there's one connection that I disconnected, and then I clipped some wires, and then it pretty much just comes out. I got lucky this time. There's no wasps in the back, which is really nice, because sometimes when I take this off, there's like a live wasp nest that likes to live in the back where that vent is. And I get a nice little surprise, so glad I didn't get surprised today. Next, I'm going to start taking off the upper doors. I will reuse these, so I'll stick those in the place where I'm sticking everything else, which is in my shed in the back. So I'll get to these later on. Also, sorry if my voice sounds a little funky. I think I'm getting over a cold. Either that or I've been inhaling too much mold, so it really could go either way. So next is this entertainment center right here, or whatever, if that's really what you want to call it. I'm just pretty much taking the door off. I'm going to take the radio off because that's got to go. It's super old. So I'll put a new radio in here, and then I'll end up putting, well, actually, I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with this. I might actually have to take the whole thing out depending on how much water damage is on the floor. But for now, I'll just take the countertop off, the radio, and the door, and kind of decide what I want to do with it later once I assess how bad the water damage actually is. Now, this same thing I had to bang out with a hammer because they put staples in through the other side. Now, these are the last of the cabinet doors from out here, so I'll go ahead and take all of those off. And then I will move on to the bathroom, which is a whole nother party in and of itself. Y'all are going to laugh when you see these clips of me in the bathroom because the floor is so soft that if you step on it, I will fall through. And so I'm literally leaning over the entire time trying to take everything out. So y'all just go ahead and prepare yourself for a good laugh because it was quite something. Oh, there it is. Yes, so bad. It's so bad. Now, I started with the toilet, obviously, that was already taken out by the previous owner. So secondly, I guess, I'm going to start with that shower door. And this is super fun, doing like half a split here, trying to get this out. But it's just a matter of some screws coming out. I think there's screws on the side walls, screws on the top, screws on the bottom, and then screws where the two pieces meet. I actually ended up missing one screw on each side, and if I would have done that, the whole thing would have come out in 3 separate pieces versus one piece like it did, but it's okay. I just ended up taking the other screw out once I got the whole thing out. I also ran into a spider while I was in here, so I did a little like swat, try to get it out of the way. There's so many spiders in this camper, so I'm gonna be so happy once I've gutted it and everything's out and I can start replacing this nasty water damage. Now, here was the hard part, was trying to maneuver this thing out and like wiggle it around because I didn't realize I had left a screw on each side. And so I ended up, and of course I can't walk on the floor because that would be too easy, you know. So I pretty much just wiggled it around and tried to get it out the door and then took it apart once I got it out of the bathroom. I may reuse this, I may not. I haven't really decided. I'm actually kind of confused as to why they put a corner shower in this trailer when they had plenty of room to put like a bigger side shower. So since I would already have everything off, I might just do that. All right, so right here, I am pretty much trying to disconnect the drain from the plumbing underneath. And this is always super fun to do because you're reaching your hand in this little itty bitty tiny hole and you don't know if there's going to be a snake in there. You don't know if there's going to be a spider in there. You don't know if there's going to be a mouse in there, which I have seen all of the above. Maybe a dead bird. Maybe if you're lucky, a dead bird. Anyway, spiders are the least of my worries. So yeah, it's just, yeah, super fun. So you see me tearing up the shower surround right there. There's actually screws behind that, and so that's why I am kind of peeling it back, and then I'll end up taking the whole thing off because I realized that there's more screws that I can't get to. So there's like literally 20,000 screws holding this thing in, which is hilarious. Now here you see I went ahead and took all of the hardware out, basically just unscrew that, disconnect the water lines, and then that whole thing will come out. And then you can do this lots of ways to get this shower surround off, but I kind of just like pulling it. I'm not really too worried about breaking it because I'm not really sure if I'm going to reuse it anyway. So I'll just go ahead and take this whole thing out and stick it in my yard until I decide what I want to do with it. Also, this door is really bothering me because it keeps like swinging shut. So I'm just going to take the door off and make my life easier. Also, it keeps closing when I'm trying to record, which is also very annoying. So now that that's out the way, I can go ahead and take this shower pan out. It's nice and free. And then you can see there's a shower pan support there, and it's actually in really good condition still. Sometimes these are screwed to the ground, but this one was actually not, so it just comes right up. Then there's actually some little supports right here that it was screwed into. Not really sure why I attempted to unscrew this because they're so rotten. It's not going to matter anyway. So I pretty much just the whole thing ripped up. And you can see how awful this floor is. I mean, I knew this floor was bad, but like this is like next level bad. So this is going to be super fun to repair. Now this is still inside the bathroom. There's tons of storage in this bathroom, which is great. So I started off by taking all of the doors off. I might eventually have to take this entire cabinet out. I want to take the rest of the flooring up to see how bad it is, but I'm pretty sure most of this cabinet's going to have to come out in order for me to fix the floor, which is kind of a bummer because it's really, really big, and honestly, it's probably going to break when I take it out. So, I don't know, I might come up with some creative solution not to have to take the entire cabinet out, maybe just the bottom parts. I'm going to continue my little lean-to right here and try to take the rest of this out. So I'm going to take that cabinet door off. I'm going to take the rest of these drawers out. I'm actually going to take that entire sink area out because it's pretty much just like little lightweight pieces of wood all stuck together, so I can rebuild that no problem. Now, same thing with this sink. It's got little tabs on it that kind of keep it together. So I'm going to do this more lean-to over here and try to support myself on this wall. And this sink actually, it didn't want to come out. And so I ended up just banging it in through the other side, which is pretty funny. But that's okay. Sometimes that's you just got to roll like that. Okay. You just got to go with it. So there it is. Ta-da. That's what I'm going with. Now, once that's out, I can go ahead and reach these faucet connections in the back, disconnect those, and then I will get my drill and unscrew the countertop from the side of the wall, bang that up, and then that whole countertop should come out, theoretically. I'm not going to reuse this countertop or the faucet, so I don't really care if I break either of them. That's why I'm getting the hammer and just kind of bang it up and take it out. Next, I'm going to take the actual cabinet out. I'm going to basically get my drill and unscrew all of the supports on the side, and then the whole thing should come out. I actually broke it because it didn't come apart from the wall like I thought it would, but I don't really care because, like I said, I'm probably not going to reuse this anyway. I might kind of do a different layout here, so I'm not really too worried about it. And also, if you're curious, my foot is on the toilet flange, but I'm not putting any weight on the toilet flange, so nobody yell at me for like, oh, you're going to break your black tank. I'm not going to break it. There was no weight on it. It was just stability. All right, last but not least for this video, I'm going to take this really yucky piece of trim off of the slide. I don't know why they always make trim so like bulky and like brown and yucky. It's not good. Anyway, so I'm going to remake some trim for this out of some pine. It's going to be really pretty. Miter the corners. It's going to look great. And these are just stapled in. You just pull them. You see how hard I'm pulling right there? I'm shaking the whole camper because I don't have the jack stands down, but that's okay. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed.